Our next speaker will be Pattie Krakowski.
Is there a microphone here?
Oh, you're loud enough without
okay.
one, Pattie.
Thank you.
Just state your name for the record. You have
Pattie
3 minutes.
Krakowski, 510 West Blunt Street. You guys all know me anyway. The reason I'm here right now is to talk about the situation with the former vet and hope that we never have a situation like this again. I understand that hiring goes through HR and ultimately the county administrator, and the county commissioners legally are prevented from doing anything with hiring, the hiring process, and currently we don't have a county administrator. But were you aware that veterinarians being considered for the job as county veterinarian were observed by local veterinarians performing procedures and surgeries that they would be doing if they were hired as a county veterinarian? Our local veterinarians, after observing Alfonso Stewart, told the county not to hire him. The county went on ahead and hired him. Unfortunately, 10 animals died because of Dr. Stewart. I know some of you have pets. I know some of you have children. Maybe some of you have grandchildren. I don't know if anybody's old enough to have grandkids. But how would you tell your children? Well, you said you think we should do no kill once a week, so I'll throw you a compliment too. To me, the most tragic part of all of this is a family who adopted a cat that had been at the shelter since October. Cats are harder to adopt than kittens. And this family adopted Lily and brought her home. The 12-year-old daughter promised she would take care of Lily, and there was a 7-year-old son. They were very involved with Lily. Unfortunately, Lily was taken back to the shelter, and the family got a phone call that said she had died. I understand right now that human resources and risk management and other county departments are looking into what happened at the shelter. What is being done, though, to prevent tragedies like this from happening again? And whose responsibility? I know you guys don't do anything with hiring, but wouldn't you like to know what's going on in the districts that you represent, or what's going on in the departments that you oversee? Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Cindy Anderson. Ms. Anderson, this item is on the agenda. Did you want to speak at the regular board meeting or up here at public forum?
Well, unfortunately, I have a meeting that I'm committed to attend at 5:30.
Well, just state your name. You have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Cindra Anderson. I live at 1817 East LaRua Street. Good evening, everybody. I just want to speak out tonight in support of what's called feral cats, also known as community cats, or cats that live outdoors. I think it's clear to me that trap and euthanize has not worked for decades. We've been killing cats for years and years all around the country, and some new proven ways have come about, and that is trap, neuter, and release, or return, rather, to where they are living outdoors and being fed. If you trap, neuter, and return a community cat, it decreases the number of overall cats. No cats are added to the community when we're simply sterilizing those that are already living outdoors. Less cats producing equals less wildlife killed, if that is going on with cats in the community. If a cat is well fed, they're usually not interested in birds, and they generally get a little fat and they can't even chase them. In shelters that implement trap, neuter, and return of feral cats or community cats, or cats that you cannot easily pet that have lived outdoors, the intake numbers of cats decrease steadily and dramatically. So that's in the shelters. It's been proven. Trap, neuter, and return of healthy cats that are obviously being fed has been proven to humanely reduce the number of cats living outdoors. And presently, there are 27 counties in 15 different states that are leading the way in a more effective means of humanely dealing with cats that live outdoors. So I just wanted to speak for the community cats. And also, I do have concerns regarding Dr. Stewart, the recent vet that I guess he resigned, I'm not sure, and the deaths of the pets that occurred under his surgical hand at the shelter. And I am concerned about the fact that we hired the gentleman when clearly he didn't pass the original muster as far as even being a candidate that was qualified to be interviewed. Grave concerns about that and the supervision of the shelter by the county liaison, Ms. Wesley.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next speaker is Mary McDaniel. Okay. Hello, Ms. McDaniel. Please state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Mary McDaniel, East Hill. I'm here today to request that the commissioners investigate into the hiring practices of Escambia County, and in particular, I'd like to know the particulars of who approved the hiring of Dr. Alfonso Stewart for the shelter. I reviewed his job application, and under references for the position of Chief Veterinarian for Escambia County Shelter, it said, Escambia County, and I quote, Escambia County does not require references for this position. That's frightening. I think we could all agree. Moreover, his references that he did include on that were himself. They were 2 non-existent businesses. One that was not a veterinary shop, a building that he leased out in Milton, that didn't do veterinary, any kind of surgery or otherwise, and another was a non-existent business in Texas, I believe. Georgia. Now, it was obvious almost immediately after hiring him that he did not have skills to do surgery on animals. However, someone approved him doing surgery on animals, and at least a dozen, if not more, animals suffered the results of his surgery, grossly botched surgery, and suffered, I can't even imagine what that must be like to die slowly from a horrible surgery. He killed 3 on Valentine's Day. My own vet, very well-respected Gulf Breeze vet, got one of the animals whose surgeries he botched, was so horrified, Dr. Rennie and Gulf Breeze, that he called the shelter immediately,
Ma'am, stay at the microphone there.
called the shelter immediately or the county immediately to describe how horrified he was at what he found when he went internally into this animal. He killed over a dozen animals who, at least 3 of whom, if not more, had already found homes, had adopted families, and who were getting spayed or neutered at the shelter. Now, this Dr. Alfonso Stewart has since resigned. The shelter under Miss Marilyn, last name Wesley, has denied any wrongdoing in allowing this individual to operate on animals. I want to know, we would like to know, the community would like to know who allowed this man not only to do surgery initially, but to continue doing surgery after it was clear that animals were dying and suffering. We'd also like to know what's being done subsequent to this about his license, how the county's planning on following up, not only into the deaths of these animals, but to prevent him from continuing to operate elsewhere. Right now he's in Milton trying to drum up more business. So I guess I am requesting that the commissioners initiate an investigation into who hired this man, Stewart, who allowed it to go on, how many animals died, how they died, and all the stats that occurred during his time in operation. We've requested them, we've been denied them, so we'd like access to those records.
Thank you, Mrs. McDaniel. I do believe that there's a comprehensive analysis happening at the Escambia County Animal Shelter as we speak.
By whom?
Immediately internally.
Internally is the same individuals that allowed this man to
Immediately
practice.
internally. Thank you, Mrs. McDaniel.
Larry,
So you
Mr.
don't know
Chairman.
the name of an individual that's handling the investigation or that's doing it? Is it the same person that allowed this man to be hired and to continue practicing surgery?
Thank you for your input, Mrs. McDaniel. Andrew Bluer, next.
Mr. Chairman.
On that subject, could I ask a question? I mean, we're not getting an answer to these ladies or these.
But
Can we ask Larry to do an investigation?
we can ask Larry when,
He's doing one currently.
Larry does a current investigation.
I'm not
Who's
afraid to
doing an
tell her who's doing it.
investigation?
What I do want to do is continue to move on, ma'am. Time's up. Is that it's 5:25? We have our 5:30 meeting.
If we have our administrator, acting administrator handling it, that's about as high up as we can go.
Who is the administrator?
Mr. Newsom.
Mr. Newsom? Okay, that's all I was asking, is who's handling the investigation?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Andrew Bluer.